there, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Uncovering Your Inner Power. I'm your host, Jill Ripley, and today we're continuing our Sacred Season of a Woman series. We're stepping into a season that can feel both magnetic and a little uncomfortable for a lot of women. We're talking about the Enchantress. Now, this is where things begin to shift, because if the maiden is about discovering who you are, and the mother is about giving yourself to others, the Enchantress is where you start to come back to yourself. This is the season of power, desire, truth, and personal expression. And this energy has been misunderstood for a long time. Women have been taught to tone this part of themselves down, to soften it, to make it more acceptable. But the truth is, the Enchantress isn't dangerous. She is just unapologetically aware of herself. The Enchantress is the part of you that is deeply connected to your inner world. She feels things deeply. She notices things with a keen sense of understanding. She's intuitive, emotionally aware, and no longer willing to abandon herself to keep the peace. This is the version of you that starts asking, what do I want? What feels good to me? What's true for me, even if it makes other people feel uncomfortable? And when a woman begins to live from that place, everything changes. Let's start with the highest expression of this energy. The Divine Enchantress is grounded in truth. She's self-aware, she's emotionally connected, she sets healthy boundaries. She doesn't need to chase, she attracts. She doesn't need to manipulate, she aligns. There's a calm confidence to her, a quiet magnetism. She doesn't need to prove anything because she's no longer looking outside of herself for validation. And one of the most powerful things about her is that she allows herself to experience pleasure, not just physically, but in life. She's able to see the beauty in the little things. She feels connected, creative, and she allows herself to be present. She's no longer in survival mode. She's finally allowing herself to let go and experience the things she's put on the back burner for so long. Now, this is where I want to slow this down for a moment. Because whenever we talk about power and truth and self-expression, there's always another side to it. And if we skip over that part, we miss the depth of this entire season. So let's talk about the version of the Enchantress that seems all too common, and that's the Shadow Enchantress. And I want to be honest here. This isn't something I feel deeply connected to in my life today, but that doesn't mean I don't understand it or experience some aspects of it sometimes. Because I've done enough inner work to recognize where these patterns used to live in me and where they can still show up in subtle ways if I'm not paying attention. And that's the thing about this energy. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet and subtle. It shows up in those small moments where you're not fully anchored in your truth, where instead of just saying what you feel, you pause, you soften it, you adjust it, just to make it easier for someone else to receive. And in those moments, you're not fully in your power. Because when this energy becomes disconnected from truth and rooted in insecurity, it shifts. Instead of power, it becomes control. Instead of magnetism, it becomes manipulation. Instead of self-worth, it becomes a need for validation. And for a lot of women, this doesn't feel obvious. It can look like needing reassurance more than you'd like to admit. Overthinking a simple interaction, replaying it, wondering how you came across. It can look like holding back what you really feel and then feeling frustrated when the other person doesn't understand you. Or even pulling back slightly just to see if someone will lean in. Not because you're trying to play games, but because there's still a part of you that isn't fully convinced it's safe just to be direct. And I can say for myself, I've had moments like that, not in a way that defined me, but in ways that showed me there are still layers to uncover. Because this part of us develops without safety. At some point, being fully expressed didn't feel safe. Maybe it created tension, maybe it led to disconnection, maybe it just wasn't received at all. And so you adapt. You become more aware of people, you learn how to read energy, you learn how to adjust. And those aren't bad things. In fact, they can become part of your strength. But when they're rooted in insecurity instead of truth, they can pull you out of alignment without you even realizing it. And that's why awareness here matters so much. Because you don't have to be fully in the shadow for it to still show up in small ways. And this is where the Enchantress really starts to evolve. Not by rejecting this part of herself, but by becoming aware of it. Because the moment you can see it, you're no longer being led by it. And from there, you get to choose something different. So, what does it actually look like to step into this energy in a grounded, aligned way? It starts with telling yourself the truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it disrupts what you've been used to. You stop bypassing what you feel and you stop performing. You start showing up as who you actually are. Reconnect with your body and begin to trust what it's telling you. Set boundaries without over-explaining. Allow yourself to receive without feeling like you have to earn it. And allow yourself to experience pleasure without guilt. Because pleasure isn't something you earn, it's something you allow. This isn't about becoming selfish, and it's not about disconnecting from others. It's about balance. It's about being connected without abandoning yourself. Being expressive without becoming reactive. Being powerful without needing to control. And this is something you grow into. You practice it, you refine it, you catch yourself when you slip back into old patterns, and you choose alignment again. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's this. Your power is not something to be feared. Your truth is not too much. Your desires are not wrong. You are not here to live a life that looks good from the outside, but feels disconnected on the inside. The Enchantress is the part of you that says, I'm done pretending. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper into reconnecting with yourself, I do have a free Learn to Love Yourself workbook available. You can find it in the link in the show notes or on my website at empoweredbythestorm.com. And as always, if you feel called to explore your own journey on a more deeper level, I offer a free 20-minute discovery call to see if private coaching might be the right next step for you. That link is in the description as well. Until next time, keep showing up, keep healing, and keep stepping into your power. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I truly honor you for being here and for choosing to do this deeper work. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to stay connected. You can sign up for my newsletter at empoweredbythestorm.com/newsletter. And when you do, you'll receive a free copy of my How to Love Yourself workbook as a thank you. My book, Empowered by the Storm, is also available on Amazon if you'd like to go deeper into this work on your own time. And if you're feeling called to more personal support, you can visit my website to explore private coaching and see if it feels like the right next step for you. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, trust your journey, and remember, your healing matters.